Hello and welcome to today's edition of the Daily Dose of Awesome. So Facebook made a lot of changes to their platform last week. So what we're going to talk about today is what those changes are, what some of those, not all of them, what some of those changes are, but more importantly, what do those changes mean to your business moving forward? So that's what we're going to discuss today on today's edition of the Daily Dose of Awesome. If we have not met before, my name is Helen Martin and I am coming to you live from Australia. I'm a mentor here within the Elite Marketing Pro community and it's always a pleasure to be here live with you for editions of Daily Dose of Awesome. So as you are coming in, say hello, tell me where you're coming in from. Hello Lee, how are you? So jump in, say hello. Those of you that are catching the replay, put the word replay down below so I can say hello to you after the fact. So are you aware what's happened in Facebook land in the last week? There have been a lot of changes. If you are unaware, Facebook has an annual conference every year, and at that conference they announce a lot of changes. So a lot of immediate changes and also changes that are coming, rolling out in the future months. So they had their conference last week. There's been a lot of changes, so much so that they've called it FB5. So it's the fifth sort of largest changes that Facebook has made in the history of its platform, and they're calling it the new era of Facebook. There's that many changes that they're calling it the new era of Facebook. So there's a lot to learn, but more importantly, you need to be aware of what these changes are so you know how to adapt for your business. So would you like to know what some of these changes are? Let me know in the comments. So who do we have on? Hello Tom, hello Sharon. Tell me where you're coming in from. Let me know. Are you aware that there's been a lot of changes? Are you unaware? Do you know what the new focus is for Facebook? Would love to know. Very curious as to what you've heard and what you haven't heard, because there's been a lot going on in Facebook land. Hello Wendy. How you going Tony? Hey Jimmy's. Yes please. Hey Valentin. How are you? Good to see you all sort of jumping on. So obviously, bring it, Tom says. Obviously, hey Rebecca, good to see you on. Obviously, hey Jess, I can't give you all the changes, but what I want to focus on for this Daily Dose of Awesome is the new area of focus. Well, there's three main areas of focus for Facebook, and it is very important that you know what they are so you know how to adapt. So just keep in mind that some of these changes are immediate, and some of your phones may have looked a little bit different already. You've looked at your screen and it's like, oh, that looks a little bit different to the week before. And some of the changes will be rolling out in months to come. So it's not all immediate, but it's a major change of focus for Facebook. So one of the things that Mark Zuckerberg mentioned in his opening address for the conference is the future is private. That was one of his sweeping statements, that the future is private. So there's one thing for sure, is that Facebook is evolving and it's changing a lot to meet the needs of the marketplace, and also to, I guess, satisfy areas that they're criticized in with privacy and bullying and those kind of things. So they're evolving to meet the needs of the marketplace, and it's essential that they do that. So the sweeping statement, the future of Facebook is private. So how that rolls out is in a few ways, but the three key areas that he mentioned that are going to be the focus areas moving forward is private messaging. So that's one. Small groups, huge focus in small groups. I'm not sure if you saw it on your phone pop up, but I certainly saw a message the day after the announcement last week, a graphic on my phone, and it says, groups are now the heart of Facebook. So huge shift into small groups. And the third one is stories. So huge shift into very quick, what they call ephemeral content, which means it doesn't last, it doesn't hang around. So that's obviously where the Facebook Stories feature comes in, that it's quick, fast content that only hangs around for 24 hours and then it's gone. So this is sort of the way that they're moving. There's been other big changes. Some of them will affect you, some of them don't. Visually, Facebook looks different. They've made huge visual changes to what they've done with groups. Some of you that have got an iPhone will see the groups icon in the middle at the bottom of your phone, and you open that up and you can go into your settings and rearrange your groups. You can have your most favorite groups at the top. It's a separate news feed for groups. Like, things look different already now in some areas, and some areas are coming. So it's very apparent that Facebook is moving towards private messaging, huge focus on privacy, huge focus on community, hence small groups, and a huge focus on content that doesn't hang around. So Facebook Stories is huge. If you haven't embraced Facebook Stories yet, I would highly suggest that you do, because this is a new focus for Facebook. It's the Facebook Stories has a different news feed. A different algorithm to the news feed, and you can get huge organic reach through the news feed, both on business pages and sort of personal pages. With the private messaging, Facebook has announced that they want to have the fastest, superior messaging network in the world. And Messenger is going to look very different in the future to what it looks today. And what they've said is that they really want our relationships with our friends and family to be private. Basically, to go back into lockdown, encryption, so having encrypted messages that people can't track. So privacy is the huge area of focus. So I've seen a couple of visuals where when we go into Messenger, you're going to see tiles. What I mean by tiles is, when you look at stories, and you've got your profile that sits there, and then you see somebody else's story that sits there. That's sort of what they call a tile. So Messenger is going to have tiles in it with your friends and family, and that's how you're going to connect in the future. So in saying all of this, what does this mean for you and your business moving forward? What do you need to concentrate on? So it's really important to be aware that personal profiles, so relationships with friends and family and your personal profiles, is going to be moving more towards privacy. So they really want that information between friends and family to be back into lockdown, and a lot of that movement will go into Messenger, and so you're not going to get the exposure necessarily that you might now when you do like a Facebook Live. So I'll get into the lives in a moment if you're concerned about that. So if you want content that's going to stick around, long term, exposure, out into the cold market, the reach is going to be given to business pages. So there's the first thing to focus on. If you don't already have a business page, it might be a good idea to start one. If you already have a business page, it would probably be a really good idea to focus heavily your Facebook Lives and content creation on your business page, because that's where content is going to stick around. That's where you're going to get external exposure. There's been new updates to Facebook, videos, and the ranking of videos just this week. Now, if you missed yesterday's Daily Dose of Awesome, Matt Barron gave a really good summary of what those changes are and what you need to be aware of. But what all those changes are reflective of is on business pages, not on personal profiles. So they're going to give a certain ranking and increase your ranking on videos on business pages, not personal profiles. So everything that Matt was talking about on yesterday's edition of the Daily Dose of Awesome, at the timing of this video, his video was yesterday, and he mentioned the focus areas. So they're going to rank live videos in certain ways, but it's for pages. There's new language, so it's probably important that you're familiar with the new language. So they're mentioning, consumers. So consumers are personal profiles, people that are, just looking at Facebook. And then there's creators. You guys are creators. So when you see anything written or, seeing updates about creators, that means you guys. So people that are building on Facebook, you have a business page, you are referred to as a creator. And that's sort of the newer language that Facebook's using. So there's creators and consumers. So people that are running a business off Facebook, business pages, you are referred to as a creator. And so all the changes with Facebook Lives regarding the organic reach, the changes to the algorithm and video ranking, it's all to do with business pages. So huge focus externally on business pages. You are not going to be able to get the exposure from your personal profile because that's going back into privacy, it's going into encryption, it's going into ephemeral content, which means short-lived, like Facebook stories. So you'll be able to see content, you'll be able to connect really well with your friends and family, but it's going to be short, it's going to be fast, and it's going to be basically in lockdown. So exposure for your business on Facebook is really, the future of that is in business pages. The second thing to watch out for is obviously small groups. Huge focus of small groups. Facebook said it itself. Groups are the new heart of Facebook. I think that was the wording, something very similar to that. So huge focus on communities. They want people to connect in groups and have meaningful relationships and interact and engage in small groups. Now, in saying that, I wouldn't rush out and start a group just because this is a new focus area for Facebook. You need to have a reason for a group. You need to have a community purpose for a group. So do a little bit of research about groups as to whether you need one yet before you start one, because you want to start a group properly. You need to build on a community that it already exists. You don't need a group necessarily to create a sense of community. You can create a sense of community on your business page if done correctly, if giving really good content, giving really good value and looking after your people and building rapport with your audience. So that's really a huge focus area for you, is building up your business page, building really good relationships with the people on your business page, and having engagement and interaction as a focus area for you. Likes and loves and those kind of superficial type things, it's not the future of Facebook. Engagement, interaction, meaningful relationships, then moving those meaningful relationships into small groups is where Facebook priority areas are. And the last one I mentioned before, so it was private messaging, small groups, and stories. So stories is a huge focus area for Facebook. It's where you can get massive reach at the moment, particularly on a business page using Facebook stories, but it is sort of fast, content that only sticks around for 24 hours. You can save it and put those into albums and things like that. So I won't go into detail about Facebook stories, but it's definitely an area that you want to embrace. If you haven't quite got there yet, go and have a play around with Facebook stories because they're really cool, lots of fun. You can create instant content. Who's having fun with stories? Let me know who's playing around with stories. I'm also curious to know who's not using stories yet. So let me know that as well. So what this means for your business, concentrate on your business pages. Do your live videos on your business pages, and there's a whole lot of things you need to be aware of with the new ranking of videos, and that's not immediate, so don't panic. That the changes to the ranking of videos is rolling out over a number of months. So you've got time to do a little bit of research on that, work out what's important. And there's great information that Matt Barron gave yesterday on his edition of Daily Dose of Awesome. So definitely check that out as well. Now, if you do Facebook Lives on your personal profile, I'm certainly not saying stop everything you're doing there and do it all on your business page. You want to transition, you still want to be there. So just transition with these changes. Build up your business page, send people from your personal page to your business page, blend your business from personal to your business page, because that's where the external exposure is going to be, because personal profiles are going to go more into lockdown than they are now. Okay, so does that make sense to you guys? Was that useful information? If it was, let me know. There are heaps more changes than what I've mentioned right here and now, but that is the main focus. Mark Zuckerberg said it himself, the future of Facebook is private for consumers. So consumers meaning personal profiles, relationships with your friends and family. So if you want exposure for your business, that's where business pages are. That's where the video ranking, all the changes that have been announced this week with video ranking, it's for creators, not consumers. So be careful where your focus is, and small groups. Awesome to have small groups and create small groups, but if you just work out whether you're ready for a small group, because the last thing you want to do is create a small group and it ends up being a dead group because you weren't ready for a group, or you don't have enough people to create a group, and there's no engagement or interaction in your group. So we don't want that, but just be aware that a sense of community, a sense of belonging, true relationships, true engagement, and true interaction is what Facebook is that's the kind of content that Facebook is going to favour moving forward. Okay, so if you weren't aware of some of those changes, I hope that's given you a little bit of insight as to what went on last week at Facebook's conference, and the little things that you need to be sort of looking at and be concerned about and shifting towards in relation to your business if you're building your business on Facebook. So thank you for joining me for today's edition of Daily Dose of Awesome. It's always a pleasure and a privilege to be here with you, and I look forward to seeing you on my next edition of the Daily Dose of Awesome. So have a great rest of the day, whatever part of the day it is for you. Catch you next time. Bye.